Hi guys, welcome back to Heart to Heart Talks with Anita Bahal. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely day. So, the weather is getting warmer here, and of course, I keep myself very uplifted through mental, physical, and spiritual activities and focusing on myself, because once we are centered and balanced, we can be that way with ourselves, so not hurt our own selves first. And then we can be that way with every single person in our life, and our relationships will improve when we improve ourselves. Anyway, today I want to speak about nourishment. We focus on food a lot, on nourishing our bodies with, fruits and vegetables and wonderful healthy food full of vitality and what they call prana or life force. And we look for the best food when we go to the grocery or to the market. We look for those, that attract us, that are nourishing for the body. Or we will read up, why eat papaya and apples and grapes, and why have berries, and why maybe to have less carbohydrates and substitute with more complex ones like cassava and sweet potatoes. And we all know this stuff. And this is very important, the food we eat. In fact, it is so important that I was never truly a foodie, and in this meaning that neither was too concerned of every single thing I consumed, nor who cooked it. After learning how important it is to cook the food with beautiful energy, as well as what you are eating, I love cooking my own food, and I also enjoy it. So I will dance or sing while doing it, and also ensure that I use minimal, if at all, anything that is unnatural. So that's excellent if you are on that part and eating better and learning more about food and also preparing it yourself. I personally believe that it is better to have a simple salad with some boiled foods or a simple soup. Keep food simple but healthy, and stay away from buying food not only for the economical drain it has on your money, but also for health, also for that beautiful energy you will put into the food, also for knowing what it is in the food that you put. Because when we buy at a restaurant or take out food, we don't really know, all the ingredients. We don't know what they put that makes it much more tasty. And in fact, there's so much sauces out there, and we cannot be sure what is in it. But for sure, we know it will be not as healthy as home cooked food. Anyway, so we want to speak about nourishment. And, as a parent, if you are a parent, or as an elder person, let's say, or a mature person, you will tend not to want to have your children or your friends be amongst people who will bring them down. Let's say people who you may want to keep away your children or your family from those who are doing drugs, or let's say for those who have bad habits and so forth. Usually we tend to do this with children. We're like, I don't want you hanging out with people who smoking and drinking, and I don't want you going into parties if you guys gonna take some marijuana or something. We tend to tell kids this because we are so aware of the influence it has on the mind when we are, bombarded with this, bombarded with friends who are smoking, or bombarded with let's just have a drink, and being around it all the time. It somehow can get into our psyche, and we may be easily influenced and also easily attracted to go down that path. So to ensure that we don't, we tell the young ones, don't even have this sort of company. And you know what interests me? So as adults now, we tell younger people, to stay away from, probably even from too much buy food, or to stay away from friends who lead them astray. But as adults, we openly engage in wrong behavior. We will actually listen to gossip. We would actually read things that are not uplifting. We might actually engage in, it's not a nice word, but some people may engage in pornography excessively. Some may deal with violent games. We may, as I said, gossiping. We may be listening to music with a lot of swear words. We may be hanging out with friends, a lot of them who are into drugs, and who knows, we might be just taking a little bit, whatever it is. What I'm trying to say is that we are so particular of what the youths are doing. But how many of us are focusing on what we are doing? What is coming through these ears? What is coming through these eyes? What are we smelling? What are we speaking? What is in our heart, our mind? Who is checking? Who is trying to uplift themselves? Which one of us? And I'll tell you, at one point in my life, I would actually listen sometimes to one person complaining about the other. And yes, I would listen. And sometimes when I haven't listened, I may share it with another person. And when I look back, I shouldn't have, even if I did listen, I wish I had offered some better advice. Or maybe even stay out of it altogether, because everything we consume, every bit of information, it stays somewhere. And I'll give you a little example. Let's say I'm living at home with other members. Let's say brothers, sisters, parents. And let's say one person continuously complains to me and says, this person is rude, this person is rude, this person is rude. And I've been hearing it all the time. Now, maybe that person who had the complaint never went to that particular person to say it, but had been telling me all the time. In the future, sometimes, if there is any sort of maybe communication between me and that person who was thought of as being rude, I might, who knows, eventually just say, and you're rude, So-and-so said you're very rude too. So I would have formulated, who knows, an opinion because of those thoughts I had. Those thoughts slipped out my mouth and may cause more problems. So we have to be very mindful. So if people are coming to complain to us, I think one of the best advice we can say, of course, tell them work on themselves. Tell them also if there's an issue with someone. I think I was that type of person, honestly. I think it's better for you to go straight to that person and tell them. Even if you cannot tell them nicely, if you feel you are angry or you are angry or you are too emotional, write them a beautiful letter when you calm down. Pause, think about it and tell them your view, etc. But what I want to say, as I said, to all adults, that's just a basic little example. Don't listen to nonsense. It wears us away. We think it doesn't affect us, but with time it builds up and it builds up and it stays there. So if you have a friend that is complaining a lot, change the topic or empower them. Change the topic to something positive. If they are talking about everybody and all sorts of things that are not uplifting, engage them in a beautiful story. Give them an example. Tell them how to do things for themselves, to empower themselves. And most of us, we must become so aware. Am I reading something that's helpful? Or would this help make me sway? Or, for example, you have friends and they tell you, why are you bothering to listen to your mom and dad? You should just write them off. We must become so aware, but that these friends are not uplifting us. We must become so aware. When I'm with my friends, do we have uplifting conversation? Do we engage in physical activity? Or are we just drinking and smoking? Is it aligning with my goals? And you cannot blame your friends. We must take responsibility for our nourishment. Our nourishment through these eyes, these nose, this mouth, this ears, this physical body. We have to be accountable. So please, yes, it's beautiful to encourage the young ones, but make sure you be mindful yourself. Each one of us, all of us, we think we have matured. We may have matured physically. We may have aged in years, but many of us, our mind is still the same and we have not conquered nourishing ourselves completely in a positive way through every part of our bodies. So please take this few thoughts and reflect today and start engaging in positive activities. Love and light, Anita. Have a wonderful day. Bye.